at a corner that we selected. And so we took Baba inside this cemetery.
Okay.
This is Aurangabad, you know that.
Right.
Come on, we'll go to the place where Baba sat there, you see.
Okay.
It's a very old cemetery.
Okay.
It's all dilapidated. Now we find almost in ruins. Formerly when we were here, it had some greenery and all that. There are 3 sections here. So we are passing through the first section and then to the second. Baba sat there. Fiddle, second is tea, and then microphone. Quite right.
Yes, sir.
Known as Daulatabad.
Yes.
It has a fort, you see, which is considered to be one of the most invincible ones. And it is said that the fort is such a thing, is a natural, where the walls are so steep and so polished that even you may call it any animal it is impossible for an animal even to crawl on the walls of it and then enter the fort. That was the belief, you see. Now of course there is a lot of erosion that has taken place. And this fort of course is known as Daulatabad, formerly as it is mentioned that it was known as Devgiri in the 12th century or even earlier. In AD 1294, Alauddin Khilji laid siege to the fort and defeated the Yadav prince Bhilma I. In 1926, Muhammad Tughlaq made it his capital and Devgiri was then named as Daulatabad, known as City of Fortune. And from that time, Delhi lost all importance during that era because it became the capital of India at the time.
This is how far out of Aurangabad city?
It's about, I think, 8 miles. 8 miles from it. Aurangabad got started building in AD 1605. The work started by Malik Ambar. He first named it as Fateh Nagar after his son Fateh Khan. Maloji, grandfather of Shivaji, till his death in 1619, was a favorite of Malik Ambar. Before Aurangzeb, after whom Aurangabad is named, Aurangzeb was the emperor of India, of course, after whom Aurangabad city is named. Before Aurangzeb, Malik Ambar, who was an Abyssinian slave, ruled over Aurangabad. And Malik Ambar rose to high position during the reign of Chand Bibi. He was his deputy at the time. So you know Chand Bibi's palace is there, as it is called, in Ahmednagar. So that's how it is.
And Baba would visit this place also, Eruch?
No, he'll pass through the place. Yeah. There is in this Daulatabad fort, there is a place called Chand Minar. It's 200 feet high. Built by Alauddin Ahmad Shah in the year 1435 AD. After this, of course, a few miles from here, say about 9 miles from here, is a place called Khuldabad. It's famous. It has an atmosphere. Liked it, and Baba brought us to Aurangabad every now and then. Frequently we visited Khuldabad, and it's known as the town of saints. There are 1400 mausoleums in Khuldabad, and Emperor Aurangzeb's tomb is also situated there at Khuldabad. And Baba did his work, universal work, in Khuldabad quite often. He would take us there. So when we go to Khuldabad, we'll see all those places there. Up there, otherwise it will be.
No.
We have to halt at night here if we go up.
This is just to the entrance of
Yeah,
the fort,
this is the entrance to the fort.
Right.
This is the first gate.
Right.
And there is the second. This is the second gate, and there is the third gate. And with each gate, they have these long wooden beams, you see, to obstruct elephants or horses riding past. चला बाळाजी नंतर वाचा.
There are guns on the left, cannons to the left and cannons to the right, and into the valley of death. So everything, I mean, it's quite a big fort, right?
Yeah, there's another gate here now. Now instead of spikes, you have the knobs at the gate.
And would the whole township be encompassed in the walls of this fort?
Yeah,
yes, the whole township.
Yeah. And this is just the fort, but this fort has an extended wall, you see, which protects the whole township surrounding this fort. These are the external walls as we are entering, you see. And these walls run into miles surrounding the whole area. There's another gate now. And just in front of you, you see that, what do you call, the Tower of Victory. Yeah. That's how it is. So sometimes Baba would bring us thus far, that's all.
I see. This, yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yes,
so.
People from all parts of the world come over here. It's considered to be one of the world's wonders, in the sense that there is a cave called Kailash over here that has been amply mentioned by Francis Brabazon in his book called Stay with God. And the beauty of the cave is such, it's not a cave, you may call it, it's a huge rock temple, monolithic. And the beauty of it is that whenever a person or a tribe constructs something, you see, they begin with what you call from the foundation. But here, what they did was, they started from the top of it, and they started unveiling the temple, as it were. And as we are approaching Kailash now, what you see is a huge backdrop of a mountain rock sheet, so to say. And there you find a temple standing by itself. So all the debris that you see, tons and tons, 100,000 tons of debris, you see, been removed. First of all, it had to be carved out and then had to be hauled out and removed so that the temple remains prominent and on its own. made out of one single rock.
Wow.
And as you approach Kailash, on the right you see there is a hillock, and right on the top you see a small semicircular thing confronted, and that is known, as Baba told us, as Sai Baba's cave. Sai Baba of Shirdi, he also had come over here, along with the 1400 saintly personages who were here. So it's not at one and the same time. There was that era when they had all congregated over here, and they dropped their bodies. They had come from the northwestern frontiers of India, from Baluchistan, Afghanistan, and from Iraq, Iran, Iraq and all. So gradually they started coming over here. Why did they congregate here? Nobody knows. But they did come over here. They spent their time over here. They had their followers over here. Why we say they have their followers? Because we have the mausoleums. If they had no followers, nobody would have cared to build anything for them. So that brings us to the conclusion that there must be some followers and following for them. So that's why you have 1400 mausoleums all over here spread out. And it seems, according to what Baba told us, that Sai Baba had come and sat in that cave. Later on, subsequently, when Baba brought us over here, he used to bring us time and again. So during a couple of occasions, he took us up there inside the cave there, and we were made to keep watch outside, and he was inside it. We don't know what he was doing. He used to say that he was doing his universal work. Now what that universal work is, anybody's guess. But he was absorbed in his work. So as we go to Kailash now, you see on the right that hillock, and over that hillock there is that mound, and that mound is nothing but a cave. And to the left of that cave is the Idgah. It's built where Idgah is a place of worship by the Muslims, and especially at the time of Eid, that is the great festivals of theirs, the congregation offers prayer there conjointly. All together they come there and offer their prayers. Wallah.
गोल जाता के फलू? हाँ, और ये दोनों नील ऊपर नीचे जा रहे दोनों के बस फर्स्ट क्लास। उधर नहीं जा सकेंगे केव में?
केव तो बहुत
दूर है। अच्छा जी, कोई बात नहीं। नहीं कोई नहीं।
तुमको चाहिए तो क्या करेंगे?
I remember एक टाइम आप गए थे वहाँ, तो कोई तो गए थे, वो स्टोरी बोल। हाँ जी।
But on the left there is the office for the cave.
अच्छा।
So we have to pay the fees.
Of course.
8 annas per head.
8 annas per head.
But today being Friday, we are let off free.
Why? Friday is an auspicious day for the Hindus?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Entry. I didn't know
now
this.
This is the entrance.
Steps.
Here, look at the way. You see, they have removed the English and the Hindi.
Oh, they removed the English.
Yeah. That is the notice board regarding Ellora caves.
But going back to this Friday business, I didn't know this. What's this?
This is known as the Kailash.
Haji. Why on a Friday is this free, no admission?
You see, Friday was considered to be a day of holiday in the Muslim reign. So here it was the Nizam's. It is in the kingdom of Nizam, was. So now of course it's all India, but so they have continued to follow the habit, because most of the inhabitants over here and the watchmen, the sweepers, the people are all Muslim, and they observe Jummah, that is Friday, as the Sabbath day. So that's why it is closed. Come on.
Step down.
So this is the front panel that you see over here. It is said whenever a guide comes and tries to guide you, people you see, the visitors over here, they will say that, well, this is the panel that you see over here. And it's the panel where Saraswati is made to sit there. And then on either side there are the watchkeepers, and the elephants are bathing the goddess with the water. And the panel has denotes lotus over there and the waves. See here, when you come close to it. See, there are these waves. And lotus is all over. And the goddess is made to sit on the lotus, and then she's given a bath by the elephant. So that's how it is.
I'll tell you what. There used to be a guide here who...
Yeah, his name is Bal Kishan. His father used to be a guide over here when Baba used to bring his Mandali, men and women, Westerners and Easterners. So naturally Baba sometimes would bring his followers over here and make them admire this work of art and dedication, because this whole Kailash temple is nothing but a dedication, you see. Each one doing the panel, you'll find these people, you see, making the deities sit either on their head or they are bowing down to the feet of the deity or something like that. The panels are like that. So it's nothing but a work of art, at the same time work of dedication. They have dedicated their life. Generations, you see, worked on this. So Baba would want his followers to admire this work of art. And he'd bring. At that time there was one gentleman who used to be the guide, who used to speak English naturally, because Baba's followers from the West naturally would follow in English. So he was the one who would guide them, tell them the history about this. Then what happened is that when, after Baba passed away, of course, when Baba used to come in the during his time, his ministry, he would come. Every now and then he would come to Khuldabad. But after he passed away, there was a gap of about 3 or 4 years. And then people started wanting to come here, because they started paying visits to places wherever Baba visited, wherever he trod, wherever he stayed, wherever he did his work. So Khuldabad, of course, is a very famous place where he used to come frequently. So they would like to come here. So in the year 1971, 72 or something like that, at the time we started coming over here. At that time what we found was one by name Bal Kishan. He was an ace guide, you may call it, because he spoke English fluently and would explain to the Baba followers, you see. But when he found on the second trip that I have been bringing these people who are exclusively Baba followers, then he opened his heart and told, says, how fortunate and blessed I am that my father used to come and guide Baba people when Baba was in body and form. I was a child at the time. But now what I find that the same thing has come upon me when Baba has passed away, to guide his followers to the tour of the scale. So that's how he would take delight and pleasure in trying to tell them about minute details about the cave. So his name is Bal Kishan, but today being Friday, we don't find him here.
We got a better guide.
What you find is the Mahabharata. That panel on that side is the Ramayana.
This is the Mahabharata, you say?
The pictures connected with all Mama. Yeah.
The panels. Yeah.
Isn't this front piece, this middle piece, rather from here?
It's known as the chariot. Yeah, we'll come, you'll see from there.
This side, a flight rather. Here, you're going up a side gallery, you there front piece.
Right.
Somebody started asking, you see the guides, says, did they have any plan to create this temple? Because it's in perfect shape, design, and it seems to be a pre-planned and well-planned piece of architecture. So naturally the guide said that, well, we didn't have any planning at the time, but then those who must have planned, we didn't, in India, didn't have anything to do with art paper or blueprints or anything of the sort. So all that planning was in the mind of the great sculptors, and one amongst them was the chief sculptor, so to say. So he had planned it in such a way that it was a sort of a chariot. See how the base of it is all covered with all the animals there, carrying the whole load of the... Instead of the wheels, they are the ones who are carrying the load. The elephants are there, the unicorns are there, the hippopotamuses are there, lions are there, and so forth. Yeah. So what you find is that the whole burden of this temple is on these animals. They are carrying the burden of it. And the architecture of it is that there are many small temples that you find, but then they are the little, you may call it sections of a chariot, because the whole thing, when it is seen in its totality, it reminds one of a huge chariot in which the central portion where the deity is placed there, that is being hauled, you see. And the two elephants that you see there, posted there at the beginning, they are the elephants to be yoked, you see. And so the plan was nothing but a chariot for the Lord. So that's how it is. And when we entered these caves, you see here there are different panels, and this is a long corridor that you see. What we find is, we can easily see that what they do is that they don't carve out from the bottom, but from the top.
I see.
Yeah. These are the great pillars on which the whole thing rests. See how huge the rest are.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. About 3 feet, 4 feet.
But the whole thing is so stupendous that sometimes it is frightening to see massive rock overhanging, you see, cantilever type.
Right. There's some measurements as to the width and breadth of this.
Yeah, because here you see all the pillars in a row. And this is the corridor, and on this side are the different panels. Now this panel depicts Ravanna in worship, you see. Yeah. So what happened, Ravan was a great, devotee of the Lord and Shiva, and he used to offer flowers every day So it seems that one day he found that there was a flower missing. So then he is now offering his head here. You see, he's trying to chop off his head.
Ravanna.
And place it at the feet of the Shiva, the Shivalingam. You see, that's how it is.
Because you associate him with Ram and as a demon.
As a demon,
right?
Yeah, but in fact he was the worshipper of Shiva.
But he was a worshipper of Shiva. Here there is another panel also. Shiva and Parvati are here. So these variegated panels are here.
Right, right. And this whole temple is after Hindu mythology.
Yeah, it's the Brahminical section of the caves.
Right.
On one side is the Buddhistic section, in the center is Brahminical, and at the far end is the Jain section. And populated by the 1400 mausoleums of the Sufi lord. So you have the Muslim traditions, Hindu traditions, in which Buddhistic traditions are all mingled together. Jainism, Buddhism, Brahmanism, and what we call Sufism are all mingled here. And then now Meher Baba had come here, top it all.
But Eruch, they wouldn't have all come together at one time.
No.
So
Not at one time.
No.
But we now have at one time all of them here. You see.
Right. But why after generations one would pick the same spot?
That is the beauty of it. Yeah. One does not know what it is for. But what we find is that they had all congregated over here. And these caves were also carved out over here in different eras.
And the other thing, they didn't destroy each other's culture either.
No, they didn't destroy. On the contrary, they enhanced the beauty, you see, in competition of their own. Who was that great devotee of Shiva? There is this panel over here.
Yes.
Where the great devotee of Shiva is there. And he is worshipping the Shivalingam that is depicted in the panel. And it so happened coincidentally that was the moment of his death. So here, Yama, the one who takes the spirit away from the one's body, Yama. There, he comes there, says, come on now, you surrender to me, I have come, it's your time. But he is so lost in the worship of Shiva that he doesn't realize what's happening. So there is a rope put round his neck by Yama, the messenger of death, you see. But just then, when he was to lose him, there Shiva appears from the Shivalingam and just protects him and wards the messenger of death and says that you have no right to possess him while he is in the act of worship.
And who is that worshipper?
Markand Rishi. And here is depicted the wedding ceremony of Shiva and Parvati. They get wedded. And here comes the demon.
Shiva ne married है क्या? Shiva is that the?
Yeah. Yes. It is something to do with if the blood were to drip on earth, again so many demons will be created. So there is a hand there, comes out to collect all the blood. That's what they say, we don't know.
Baba would never comment on any of this? No.
Here this is...
The center.
Huh?
No, I thought it was at the center. No.
No, it is not the center. This is manifestation from the Shivalingam, you see. The manifestation of Shiva from the Linga. And all the seraphims and all the angels are in the act of worship at the time of the manifestation of Shiva.
Eruch, what exactly is a Shivling? What does it sort of represent?
It's nothing, it's
Just a-
Shivaling. Here now it is depicted as the symbol of the phallus. And according to the understanding that is given to me by Baba is that this symbol of phallus has nothing to do with the phallus, but it has to do with everything with duality. One has to transcend duality, and it is the root cause of manyness because of the creation out of it. So then naturally what we have to do is transcend the carnal passions and unify oneself with the reality. So in order to transcend duality and become one with reality, we have to just meditate on the pros and cons of this particular thing or organ that creates mankind. That is the root cause of manyness. That's the root cause of many dissensions. At the same time, it is also the root cause of the advent. Yeah, the real beauty of it is to be seen rather than be heard.
Right. They carve from the top downwards.
Yeah, they carve from the top down. It's not sort of carving also.
No.
It's sort of, it gives us the idea that the whole thing has been unveiled out of this huge mountain. Just the debris has been removed. And the beauty of it is that there are many spots which are totally almost dark. And how could they have carved out in this darkness? Look at the mass of rock that is overhanging here. See this? Here at the back. There are these pillars. There is the corridor. And overhanging
It's just a mass
is a mass of rock, you see. And the design is such that rain falls down, but it doesn't harm the panels. I think it's about 15 feet wide, the rock, mass of rock, outside the pillars. Here is that story of Hiranyakashipu and Narsimha Avatar. The panel shows this. Prahlad, son of Hiranyakashipu, was severely tested by his father, who thought that he had received the boon of immortality. And then he felt that he was the living God on earth.
The father.
Who was the king also. So he started enforcing worship on his subjects, his own worship. But his son, whose name is Prahlad, refused to do that. He says, after all, you are immortal. He says, no, I have received the boon of immortality. That's how it was. So there, the boon of immortality was that the king, in his penance, he had gained this boon, that he be not killed by any man or a beast, not killed by any weapon, not killed on the surface of the earth, outside or inside.
Inside the house. Not inside or outside the house.
Not
in the daytime.
Not in the day, nor in the
night.
night.
Yeah.
And so forth. So what happened is that the last test that Hiranyakesha put on Prahlad was that if you say that your God is everywhere and everything, then embrace the pillar that was made red hot. So while he's embracing, naturally it was too much now for the Lord to withstand all the torture and persecution to his devotees. So out of the pillar comes a spatial advent known as Narsimha, means half man and half lion. Okay? And he drags the king from the throne and takes him to the threshold. It was twilight at the time. Puts him on his lap because it's neither on the surface of the earth or on the surface of water, and then tears his innards.
With his claws.
With his claws, not weapons.
Right.
Here is a panel that almost depicts the creation, you see.
Almost.
Yeah. Because beyond state of God is there, and the creation is taking place here. From the navel. From the navel.
From the navel. Navel of Vishnu, the creator.
Brahma has come out.
These are the stables of the Lord.
These gods are nothing but to read the attributes. Life.
And now we're going, you say, to the main temple, huh? We're going back down, okay.
Yeah, we're going down. It was all on the side of the temple.
Right.
Of the temple that was carved out called the Kailash.
Right.
See here.
Haji, Jarur, Jarur.
We are going now to the Kailash temple, main temple.
Haji, you were saying something about a photograph here?
Yeah. What photograph? Not yeah, I was saying that there is, you see there is a niche over here.
Haji.
Right on the top, here,
Haji.
where we are standing. And there, Roger, what was his name? Roger Stephen? Roger Stephen? Yeah.
Oh. This was in recent years?
No, past years, when we had come over here.
Not with Baba or anything?
No, nothing, nothing to do with Baba.
No, then the...
Baba would never waste time like this. I won't come over there. Huh? I will just...
Climbing into the main temple. Right. Yes, sir. Now left. Okay. Big one?
See, this is the main temple.
Yes.
It's known as the Kailash. Huh? Come on, let's get inside.
Do we take our slippers off here?
No. Formally, they had to take out the slippers, but now there's no need.
Big jump into the cave. What are they doing? Shining a light?
Yeah. Now it's all electrified.
Oh, it's all electrified.
Yeah. No, but now recently,
Yes,
past 2-3 years now.
Yes.
So he's trying to depict all the panels there, different pillars there. Each pillar has a different panel, mind you, of designs and things. See how it is. On the roof you find it's all scorched and turned black through smoke, fire and all. But still you see some patches of painting, ancient painting there. What a color. Yeah, the colors are there. Still. And this is the temple where you have the Shiva temple here.
Right. The panels depict the same gods virtually as same aspects,
different attributes.
Yes.
Yeah. And mostly you'll find these panels, you see, where they depict carnal passions, man holding the bosom of a woman, woman being kissed, woman being, what do you call that, in the act of prohibition and all that sort of thing. So there were people who asked, what's the matter? Here we are entering one of the most sacred temples in India of Shiva, and why is it like that? So at the time when they had carved this out, they had the intention of letting the people know that now that you are entering the temple, what do you call it? The sanctum, sanctorium. So all what you have to do is to relinquish all these things outside. Let it be. You have derived a legacy from the animal ancestry. So let it be outside. Now that you are entering the sanctum, just leave all the thoughts, all your acts behind you, and be in tune with the worship of the Lord. That was the main principle of it. It's not to ridicule anything. It's not there, but just to bring home to humanity. That aspect.
We're going to the image of the sanctum. A step. Yes. And a step down.
See, this is the main temple, sanctum sanctorium, in which there is a huge Shivalingam. You see, the symbol of the phallus and the counterpart of the vagina is there, and it is based in the vagina, so to say. And the main thing of it was, it's not there that the ancient Indians, you see, did not know the very worship of the Lord, and that they worship the phallus. No, it was not that. On the contrary, what they were directed to do by the sages and the perfect masters of the time was that one has to transcend this aspect and become one with reality. And this aspect of the phallus and the vagina denote manyness. What we have to do is to ride over this, subdue the passion, carnal passions, and then transcend and become one with your own true self. So that's the main principle. And that's why you find the Shiva temples all closeted, dark, a small sanctum sanctorium, you see, a very small space. It's meant for meditation, really speaking. But now they have been worshipping, they have been putting flowers and all this sort of thing, you see, and burning incense. Can you smell incense? Yes. And they put money, and all the coins are lying there, you see. And flowers are put on the symbol, and so forth. But they don't realize what it is meant for. It's meant for silent meditation.
Eruch, how is it that they don't require you to take your shoes and sandals off these days?
It was.
Yes.
Here there is see another on the ceiling, there are these panels carved out. How could they have carved out? Now we need such powerful lamps, you see, even to see it.
Right.
But what about them carving it on the roof of it? So that's the beauty of it. That's what it is, true dedication. You see. They must have used all sorts of means at their command at the time. And they say that it was just plain white sheet trying to get the sun's rays and then reflect them on certain spot. That's all. No other amenities were there at the time, except the divine power. See here this panel.
Yes.
See this panel? They are having an intercourse. Here there are other panels also. All these panels you see are there of different exotic and erotic postures.